My Tactician Mercenary can kill all tier 4 Pinnacles, including Arbiter, clear maps fast and effectively, survive one-shot mechanics,
we're dead. Oh!
and has potential to do tier 4 sims, all thanks to Pin, Glacial Bolt, and Hyri's Ire. Pinnacle bosses get locked down and can't even move. Check it out.
Is it Arbiter?
No, it's all rock.
Got him. Let's go! Let go! Let go!
What's going on, guys? Today, I have the first iteration of my Glacial Shot Tactician. The build is capable of doing all Pinnacle bosses, it's fast and efficient at mapping, and it has capabilities for Simulacrum. The Tactician Ascendancy allows all projectile damage to pin and makes it so that pin targets can't perform actions. This effectively means that the target can't move and it can't attack at the same time, and this also applies to all bosses, including Pinnacle bosses. The Tactician Ascendancy also allows us to run a ton of Spirit Gems, as the Ascendancy node, a solid plan, cuts the cost of Spirit Gems in half. This lets us run Wind Dancer, Herald of Ice, War Banner, Trinity, and Elemental Conflicts for 145 Spirit. This normally would cost 290 Spirit, so this is a massive advantage that lets us increase our defensive and offensive capabilities. The damage for the build comes from Glacial Bolt, which lays down ice walls at the end of its path. This normally isn't all that great by itself, but if we stack Area of Effect and Artillery Ballistas to break the ice walls for us, it causes nearly every crystal created by Glacial Bolt to hit the target. We'll combine this effect with the Deepest Tower Helmet and Low Life nodes to maximize this damage. We also have amazing clear speed thanks to Siege Cascade, which will shoot a bolt at every target within range. When you have large groups of enemies, this will shoot tons of bolts which have massive area of effect, allowing the explosions to overlap and delete the packs of monsters. We'll add in Herald of Ice and Pulse Circdown to further increase the clear speed, since Pulse Circdown will allow us to shatter chilled enemies, and Herald of Ice will create an icy explosion whenever we shatter enemies. The defense that we build around is evasion, and we'll be utilizing the Hyri's Ire unique body armor, which allows us to evade all hits if we haven't been hit recently. This allows us to evade spell and slam attacks, which normally can only be achieved with acrobatics, which has a 75% evasion rating penalty. So essentially, we have acrobatics without the evasion penalty, and we're currently sitting at 95% chance to evade melee attacks and an 89% chance to evade everything else. The only downside is that if you get hit by a very large slam attack during, let's say, a T4 Pinnacle fight or a T4 Sim, you're at risk of dying if it makes it through your evasion. After playing the build for a decent amount of time, I can say that it rarely occurs as long as you've built up enough evasion rating, which 20,000 total evasion rating is a safe amount to be at, but the more the better, of course, and as long as you aren't letting yourself get swarmed by a large pack of enemies, which shouldn't be happening since we have great clear speed, you're going to be fine. I've included a written build guide in the description if you'd like to give that a look, and now let's go ahead and get into the skill gems and support gems. Alright, so our main mapping skill is going to be Siege Cascade, and Siege Cascade is great with this Ascendancy as it is going to deal 280% more damage against immobilized enemies, and pinning does count as immobilizing a target, so this is a great synergy. Now I'm running Magnified Effect to increase the area of effect of the explosion, Acceleration, as this will increase the speed at which your bolt goes up and comes back down to speed up that process, Ammo Conservation to give you a chance to not consume the bolt to let you spam the skill sometimes, Nimble Reload to increase the reload speed, and then Inspiration to give you less mana cost on the skill. If you have a high enough mana pool or you want some more damage out of the skill, you don't have to run Inspiration, you can slot something else in here. Glacial Bolt, this is our bossing skill. It's going to shoot these ice crystals on the ground. We're going to use Scatter Shot, and this will cause it to do a 3-shot barrage, which will auto-shatter the bolts that have been fired before them, which is great for getting some extra damage. Execute, as we are rocking Deepest Tower whenever we are doing bosses, and Deepest Tower is going to make enemies in our presence count on as low life, and this will give us 50% more damage against low life targets. Concentrated Effect to give us more area damage, Primal Armament for more weapon elemental damage, and Immolate to give us extra damage against ignited targets, and Artillery Ballista will be igniting the targets for us. Artillery Ballista is what we're going to be throwing down whenever we're either in a map or we're ready to do our bosses. It will shoot bolts up into the sky like Siege Cascade and cause explosions. We're going to run Lockdown to let it lock down and pin some targets for us. This will speed up that process of pinning bosses or pinning enemies in maps. Reach for more area of effect for the explosions. Fire Infusion for extra damage. Martial Tempo for more attack speed, and Font of Rage to help us get rage before a boss fight or just a little bit extra damage whenever you're mapping. We're going to be using Hypothermia as we do need to lower the target's cold resistance some for Glacial Bolt. I'm running a level 17 gem currently, as that is what I needed to do to meet the int requirement. I can't do a higher level 1 at the moment because I don't have enough attributes. I'm running Ritualistic Curse as it is going to increase the area of effect of the curse. Curse Ground as it will place the curse on the ground and anything standing within there will be cursed rather than cursing a single target. And Expands to increase the area of effect even more. You can see that my curse covers a very wide area. I run Persistence to increase the duration of the curse, and Arcane Tempo to increase the cast speed. Now time for our Spirit Gems. There's a lot of them. So we're going to be using Wind Dancer as this is going to give us more evasion rating per stage in 3 stages. So we're looking at 30% more evasion rating. I'm going to run Pin, Blind, and Maim as whenever we get hit and it'll proc Gale Force. Gale Force will pin, blind, and maim the target to give us a chance to get away from them. If you want to throw the Force socket on there, you can run Wind Wave. I'm using War Banner. War Banner is a great tool to get extra damage against bosses. If you don't have enough spirit, you can completely take off War Banner, or if you want to slot in something else here, you absolutely can. But I do enjoy the extra damage boost you get from here. War Banner you'll just toss down on the ground, and it will give you a ton more attack damage. Herald of Ice, this is what we're using to synergize with the Pulsarcon Ring. On Herald of Ice, we're going to run Cold Infusion to increase the damage, Cold Pin to allow the pin cold res a little bit more, Long Shots because this is going to be proccing way away from you, Deadly Herald if you have the spirit for it to give us some extra damage, and then if you have the last slot, you can run Elemental Focus as Herald of Ice itself can't freeze, so this is fine to run here for some extra damage. We're running Trinity, as Trinity is going to give us some extra damage whenever we deal any type of elemental damage. It will build up more on a little bar, a little circle up here. It has a really nice damage boost. We're running Fire, Cold, and Lightning Mastery to increase the level of the skill to give us a little bit extra damage. And lastly, we're using Elemental Conflux as this is going to create a rotating damage buff, as you can see right here, that will cause us to deal more elemental damage of the selected element, excuse me. So this is a really nice tool as well to get us that last little bit of extra damage that we need. I'm running Fast Forward to increase the speed at which it rotates between the elements, because sometimes if it rotates to your lowest damaging element, you want it to rotate off it as fast as possible. So that's what I like to run there. And yeah, that is all of the skill gems and support gems. I'm now going to show off what weapon set to put everything on. All right, so now for the weapon sets, and this is super important if you want to get the most out of your artillery ballistas. We're going to be throwing everything, all of our attack skills on weapon set 1, as you can see, except for Artillery Ballista, as Artillery Ballista we want on weapon set 2 because we have weapon set points for the Ballista to get some extra totem damage. Everything else, it doesn't really matter. You can do either for Hypothermia, and the rest of these are just our Spirit Gems. So that is the weapon set. So now time to get into the gear. All right, so for the gear, I'm going to talk about the mapping setup. Now, the mapping and embossing setup are very similar. You only just change out your helmets. So for your crossbow, your main crossbow, you're going to be looking to get one that has 2 soul cores that have weapons penetrate 15% of elemental resistances. This is because we don't have enough cold penetration normally, and this will get you what you need to get you some extra damage. If you have a 3rd socket, you can run attack speed. On the crossbow, the most important stats to look for are going to be plus level projectile skills, nice high level of DPS. It doesn't matter what elements, preferably fizz, fire, and cold. And you're going to want around anywhere like 450, 500 plus, the more the better. Other good stats to look out for on the crossbow are ones like this that has implicit loads and additional bolt. This is going to let you shoot off an extra shot of Siege Cascade or Glacial Bolt before you have to reload. So it's super convenient there for mapping. Otherwise, if you can get like attack speed, critical damage bonus, critical hit chance, things like that's fine. Mana on kill, life on kill, anything like that is fine. For the second weapon set, all you need is a crossbow with plus to either 6 or 7 levels of projectile skills. Doesn't matter the damage or anything like that. You just need this to increase the level of your artillery ballista to increase its HP and its damage. I do recommend that you do socket in some runes with stats if you need them on your second weapon set, as since the damage doesn't matter, you can use this to get extra stats on your second weapon set. All right, so on the gloves, we're going to be using evasion-based everything for the build. On the gloves, you're going to want to go for attack speed, added damages, attributes, and resistances. I do recommend that you try to get dex or int on your gauntlets, as you are going to need a good bit of dex, int, and strength for the build. On the helmets, you can see I'm running a nice evasion helmet. We are going to get attributes, resistances, and if you can, getting max life is nice for increasing your hit pool. The body armor is Hyries Ire. Now, Hyries Ire cost about 2 div at base. If you want to get a 3 socket, I think I paid 5 to 6 div. You're going to be looking to get one with 3 sockets because you can get extra evasion rating on here to raise your evasion rating as high as possible. You're going to want to look for one that has a good amount of dex on it. As you can see, I have plus 39. The more dex, the easier it'll be to fill out your attributes, and the body armor does implicitly come with added cold damage to attacks. Now, the whole gimmick with the body armor is that you can evade all hits if you have not been hit recently. And what this means is that you effectively have the node acrobatics, which acrobatics allows you to dodge everything. This includes slam attacks and spells, because typically with evasion, you can only dodge normal melee attacks and projectile attacks, not spells and slams. This will enable you to have pretty much acrobatics without the 75% evasion rating penalty that it comes with normally. So super nice body armor. It is the most expensive piece on the build. For the boots, you're going to want a pair of boots with nice movement speed, max life, attributes, and resistances. On the belt, I am using a corrupted belt that has increased evasion rating. This is so that we can get that evasion rating as high as possible. I do recommend having at least 2 charm slots, and then otherwise going for things like mana, life, attributes, and resistances will be the best for you. For the rings, we're using Pulsar Count, and Pulsar Count is going to allow you to shatter any enemies that have been chilled. This will pretty much create a nice cold explosion on all of your attacks, since we do have cold damage on the body armor, and this will just increase your clear speed. It does give you some mana and some strength as well. On the other ring, I just recommend filling out whatever you need. If you need some more damage, go for damage. If you want some more life or mana, you can get that. If you need some more attributes or resistances, look for that on this ring here. On the amulet, I do recommend that you get an amulet with some spirit on it. The more spirit, the better. But I do recommend at least having 145 total spirits. If you can get 150 or, yes, 155, you can run everything that I have shown here, including Deadly Herald. So getting at least 145 will let you run all the spirit gems. Getting 155 will let you run Deadly Herald as well. On the amulet, you're going to look to get increased evasion rating, plus 3 level projectile skills, and then fill out anything else that you need. If you want some more life, you can get either percent increased max life, a flat boost at max life. You can get any resistances, any attributes, anything like that. I have anointed with volcanic skin, as it is going to give you 20% to fire res and 8% of damage is extra fire damage. There are tons of options that you can run, like Falcon Technique or anything like that. There's a ton of them out here, but this will help you fill out your resistances and get you a bit of extra damage. For the charms, I do recommend that you run a charm that will grant you immunity to ignite. It does not have to be this unique one. I just happen to throw it in here. And then same thing, a charm that will grant you immunity to bleed, as you can't avoid stepping on burning ground. And if you do happen to get hit and start to bleed, it could drink your HP pretty fast. So having this to grant you immunity to that is nice. If you have the 3rd slot, you can either run a stun or a freeze charm. I run the freeze charm because whenever I'm doing strong boxes, they do sometimes come with the ones that will freeze you on use. So this is nice to have there. For the flask, you're just going a nice big recovery flask. Same for the mono flask, nice big mono recovery flask. And yeah, that is it for the mapping set of gear. I'll go ahead and show you what we swap on for the bossing set. All right, so for the bossing set, all that you're going to be looking to do is swapping on Deepest Tower. We'll swap our helmets. Now, it is going to lower my lightning resistance. Now, the big thing is we are doing so much damage so fast against these bosses that they are dying before they even get the chance to hit us. So it's not that big of a deal. Just keep that in mind, that your lightning res is lowered, and don't forget to swap the helmet back off whenever you're not doing a boss. The helmet is going to give us enemies in our presence count as being on low life. This is nice because we have low life damage nodes and we have the execute support gem. And the other swap that you can optionally make to net you some more damage is you can get a ring that has more damage or corrupt skill speed, corrupt damage, anything like that. And this will net you a little bit more damage whenever you are doing bosses. It is not required, but if you do want to maximize as much damage that you're doing, I do recommend doing it. So that is it for the bossing set. So now let's go ahead and get into the passive skill tree. All right, so here are the passive tree, and what I'm going to do, since we have weapon set points and it's a little hard to differentiate the colors for some people, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the path of building, which has these colors more defined. So for the ascendancy, we are using the Tactician, and for the Tactician, I do recommend that you immediately, whenever you first start playing, if you're running the setup, to go for Suppressing Fire. Suppressing Fire is going to allow all of your projectile damage to build Pin, and Pin is nice because it'll lock down the targets and not allow them to move. With your next 2 points, you can go for right where we want them, as this will make it to where pinned enemies cannot perform actions. This includes like their attacks. So anytime you watch somebody like Zesht or Arbiter go to do one of his deadly mechanics, if you pin them, they cannot attack. It'll cancel the animation and they'll have to do a whole new moveset after they get unpinned. With your next set of points, I do recommend getting a solid plan, as this is going to give you 50% less reservation on your spirit gems. This is going to allow you to net a lot more spirit gems and overall spirits. And then with your last 2 points, I just typically grab the totem damage and the armor and evasion node. If you don't want this totem damage node, you can just swap it for polish that gear. But I don't plan on getting hit anyway, so this doesn't really affect me all that much. Honestly, I just went for the extra damage on the totems. So for the tree, I will kind of follow along and show you the path that I took and what nodes I grabbed first. This is going to differ greatly than what we are going to be doing for the campaign. I do have a early game leveling guide if you want to look at that, but I'll just kind of pass down and talk about the most important nodes. So we do want to go for these attack speed nodes, as attack speed is one of the most important things on a crossbow, as attack speed does affect your reload speed. So getting this over projectile damage is an overall increase. So we'll grab these attack speed nodes, and we're going to grab this main node right here. On weapon set 1, we're going to grab these defensive nodes right here. We're going to come down this way, and we bypass these right here to save us 2 skill points. This is needed. If you get up to like level 93, you can grab these right here, but the attributes are more valuable for us. We'll come down this way, and I'm going to grab all of these nodes right here and get Colossal Weapon for the increased area of effect and the strength. If you have the extra point like I do, you can just grab this increased damage node right here. And then we come out this way, and if you are ready to do the deepest tower setup, you can go ahead and grab all of these damage against low life targets. We'll come down this way, and we're going to shoot out and grab this node right here, After Image. This is going to give us 8% more chance to evade melee attacks. This allows us to have a 95% chance to evade melee attacks. Coming out this way on weapon set 1, we're going to grab these attack damage and attack damage while you have an ally in your presence. Now, our totems do count as allies, so whenever you drop these down in a boss fight, this is a ton of extra damage right here. We're going to come down this way, and we're going to grab these movement speed and attack speed nodes whenever you get a kill. We'll go on weapon set 1 and throw on these crossbow reload speeds. And then we'll come out this way and we'll grab these evasion nodes, and make sure you get careful consideration and not escape strategy, as this is going to give you 100% increased evasion rating if you haven't been hit recently, and we're betting on not being hit at all, so this will give you a nice increase to your total evasion rating. Grab this little node as well right here for the increased evasion. We'll come down this way and make sure that you get Forces of Nature, because it is going to give you 15% of damage pin on elements. This is important for our cold, our fire, and if you have lightning for lightning pin. On this gem node, I am using a 2% mana on kill with area of effect, crit damage bonus, and magnitude of ailments. You can use anything that's damage related on here. I just recommend that you do have the 2% mana on kill. Coming back this way, we have our first unique gem, and it is a Prism of Belief Diamond. It is +3 to all Glacial Bolt skills. It is 1 div for a +3 at the moment of recording. You can see that this is a 19.4% damage increase. If I was to take this gem out, I would lose 1.2 million DPS. Coming down this way, we are going to grab this attribute node down here, Jack of all trades, because since we do have such a nice spread of all the nodes, this is a 6.1 damage increase. This is also going to help you fill out all your attributes, as we do get +3 to all attributes. I did attempt a path to polymathy, but these nodes right here weren't all that useful, and I didn't have enough skill points to get all of these, and this wasn't all that effective. But if you need the extra attributes, you can pick this node. Coming out this way, we're going to grab these attack speed nodes and get the main one standing in the eyes. If you have the extra weapon set point, throw it on this extra attack speed node right here. I'll come down and I'll get all of these on weapon set 1 for increased damage with crossbows. And this one right here will give you a 15% chance for crossbow attacks to not to consume a bolt. This will synergize with ammo conservation. And then we'll grab the reload speed and full salvo. Full salvo doesn't calculate in path of building, but I have a custom config that calculates for it. This is going to net you a 25% increased damage whenever we shoot any one of our ammos. If you do shoot your Siege Cascade and then your Glacial Bolt, that's a 50% increased damage. You'll come out this way, and on weapon set 1, we're going to grab attack area, attack area, attack area, and authority for the increased area of effect. With the other 2 main points, we'll grab area damage and armor break, and then crushing judgment for more attack area damage. On weapon set 2, our artillery ballista setup, we're going to grab area damage, and area damage and armor break. And then on weapon set 1, we'll grab attack area. Coming down this way, we're going to get these totem nodes. Now we're going to get all of these placement speed, watchtowers for +1 number of totems, and you have a chance to summon 2 totems instead of 1 sometimes, so it'll save you some mana. And then get into the totem damage. I skip out on the totem life nodes. We're going to grab the fire damage, the smoke inhalation to give us 15% of fire pen. And we're going to get another 6% here, and then Incendiary, because we'll get increased damage with hits against burning enemies, and since our Ballista will be igniting targets, this will net us some increased damage with our Glacial Bolt. We're going to come out this way, and we're going to grab the From Nothing Diamond, so that passive and radius of acrobatics can be allocated without being connected to your tree. I bought this for 1 chaos. It's very cheap. Coming out here to that node itself, we have our acrobatics. This is from the gym itself that we just talked about, and we're going to be grabbing enhanced reflexes. Enhanced reflexes is going to give you 30% increased evasion and 8% increased dex. It gives me 14 dex, and it is also giving me a nice 5.8% evasion rating increase. I throw one more extra point here on evasion rating to get me to 90%. And then I grab these 2 nodes right here, Heart Stopping and Heart Breaking, because they not only give us critical hit chance and critical damage bonus, but they also give us plus 10 int and plus 10 strength, which is very required right now since we need so many attributes. Coming back down here on weapon set 2, we're going to grab these totem nodes right here. Skip out on this last one right here. The main ones to get is Ancestral Artifice, as this is going to give you +1 number totems. And then Ancestral Mending will regen some of your totem life and also give you some life regen. And then Ancestral Unity will give you increased attack speed on your totems per summoned totem. We have 3 of them, so that's 12% attack speed. And then we'll just grab these extra nodes right here. On your regular points, you'll come out this way, and you're going to want to grab Finality for the extra damage. You can see that this is a 13.1% increase, so absolutely make sure you're getting this if you're ready to do the bossing setup with the Deepest Tower. This is not connected. Do not worry about this. This is just something that Path of Building shows. We are not picking anything here or here with weapon set 2. We'll come up this way, and we're going to grab this last jewel slot to give us a Megalo that is going to give you High Alert. Anything with High Alert is nice. If you can get something with Bestial Skin and High Alert, it is nice. I think I paid a couple div for this. Just getting one of these increased evasion rating nodes is the most important thing that you can get here. It doesn't matter what one it is, as long as you just get something with increased evasion rating. And yeah, that is the setup. I'm now going to go ahead and get into a mapping demo and a bossing demo. All right, so here are on our map. And as you can see, we have 90% evasion rating, and this is what we're banking on whenever we are in a map, is we do not want to get hit, and we have a very high chance to dodge, so we should be fine. So whenever you walk up, you're just going to start shooting off your Siege Cascade, and you're going to let it pin and create these large explosions. And the big thing is just to not let yourself get swarmed, which you shouldn't have a problem doing as long as you're firing off your Siege Cascade pretty consistently. If you want to mix in dropping down some totems, you absolutely can, as they'll not only grab aggro, but they'll also provide you some extra shots. If you run into, let's say, like a ritual or something like that, you can throw down your war banner in the center. But all you really have to do is walk around and shoot your Siege Cascade, and they'll kill most things, including rares. You can see that I typically am not getting hit most of the time because nothing, 1, can touch me, and 2, even if they could get close to me, my evasion rating is keeping me alive here. If you come across a really tough rare, you could just swap to your Glacial Bolt and shoot it as well, but typically Siege Cascade will handle it for you. But yeah, that really is all that there is to mapping. It's pretty simple. You're just going to walk around and shoot your Siege Cascade, swap to your Glacial Bolt when needed, and if you do happen to get hit, try to dodge, roll away, and take about 4 seconds to let that body armor ability reset, and you'll be good to go. So yeah, now I'll go ahead and get into a boss demo. All right, so here at the boss, here is the area level. And what you're going to be doing is not required to do it, but you can swap on the Deepest Tower to get the most out of your damage. I'm going to show you what it looks like even without Deepest Tower to show you that you don't have to make the swap. You're going to walk into the boss fight, and you're going to you can drop down your totems early on and build up 30 rage if you want to. This is great for Pinnacles, but I'm not going to do it here. I'm going to drop down my totems, make sure they're freshened up, curse the area, and then I'm gonna drop my war banner, and then we can start fighting. And you can see, even without the Deepest Tower, it absolutely fries the boss. So that is without the Deepest Tower, which is like a, I don't know, 300-400% increase. So yeah, super easy map bosses. And now I'll go ahead and show you a Pinnacle boss fight. All right, so you're on the breach, and I'm gonna go and do a breach walk, and I'll speed it up. And once we get there, I'll tell you what we're doing for the swaps. All right, so here we are at Zesht, and now I'll show you what swaps I make. So make sure all of your stuff's reloaded, and you're going to put on the Deepest Tower and do that optional ring swap if you want to for extra damage. And what you're going to be doing is we're going to walk into the fight. We're going to drop down our ballistas. We're going to curse the ground, drop our banner, and you're good to go with Ice Wall. Pay attention to the pen build up and watch the boss get pinned. It'll cancel Zest animation for an attack. So we'll walk up. We'll start the fight. If you want, you could get 30 rage before starting this as well for extra damage. So you're going to drop down your totems, curse the ground, drop your banner, and then you can go ahead and start firing. And watch he's pinned and he's dead. So yeah, Pinnacle bosses are super easy. And yeah, now that the Pinnacle boss demo is out of the way, I'm gonna go ahead and see you guys out of here. So that's gonna be for the video. I appreciate it if you guys made it this far. If you want to come watch me playtest these builds live, you can come check me out on Twitch at twitch.tv/FGCorbin21. You can let me know what you think about the build in the comment section. Leave me any tips, tricks, or criticisms. And yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next one. Y'all take care.